Protests in Iran have escalated for the fourth day now. Men and women in Iran have been protesting since Friday when a 22-year-old Mahsa Amini died from a brain injury she suffered due to the brutality of Iran's moral police, which detained her and beat her up for not wearing her hijab properly. Protesters have taken to the streets. Women are in fact now removing their hijab and are burning them in the middle of roads as men defense against them against the morality cops. Meanwhile, media in Iran has released photos of Mahsa Amini's CT scan. The images show a skull fracture on the right side of her head caused by a severe trauma to the skull, which corroborates earlier accounts by her family and doctors about her being hit several times on the head, proving that the Iranian police's claim that she suffered a heart attack was untrue. Now imagine what Mahsa has gone through over her hijab. Despite the brutality, there's an expected silence from Muslim nations. But what's strange is the silence amongst Muslims in India as well. Joining us at this point is Taslima Nasreen, in fact, who spoke to us on this broadcast. She's a well-known author and activist.
This is Maima calling from India News NewsX. Ma'am, there are certain questions that I would like to ask you onto the hijab controversy. Now that Iranian women who are burning their hijab and cutting off their hair, is there a message, do you think, they are sending to the wider Islamic world? What is your perspective on that?
Iranian women have been fighting against their compulsory hijab for many years. Their message to the wider Islamic world is very simple. Protest against hijab. Hijab is a symbol of oppression. Do not wear hijab. Walk in public places freely and happily. Nobody should be ashamed of their body parts. Hijab is like a chastity belt women had to wear in the dark ages. If men get sexually excited when they see women, it is absolutely men's problem. Women do not have to hide their body parts. Men must learn to control their sexual urge. Women have sexual urge too. Women do not ask men to hide their body parts for that. I hope women in other Islamic countries would be inspired by Iranian women and would remove their hijab and live with dignity and honor as human beings, not as a slave of men or as a sex object.
Also, ma'am, like you said, it is an oppression, but others have argued it's an essential religious practice. Should it be left to, therefore, to the woman at the end of the day? That should be the central principle. Let the woman decide. Shall it be not the same way, ma'am? Because most of them have argued it as an essential religious practice.
In a misogynistic, patriarchal society, women do not decide for themselves. It is always men who decide what women should wear, where women should go to, what women should do, whether they should speak or they shut their mouth. Women have no freedom in Islam. No misogynistic religious rule should be practiced even if that rule was made by highest religious authority or God. Religion is not above humans.
Also, ma'am, how do you decide that a hijab worn by a woman is by choice and not by force? Because there's a lot of controversy surrounding hijab. So how do we decide onto that a hijab by a woman is worn by her own choice and not by force?
Hijab is a choice until the country is secular. Whenever the country is taken over by Islamists, hijab is not anymore a choice. Hijab is compulsory. Hijab actually is never a choice. Why should women choose to wear hijab? If hijab is good, men would have worn hijab, but they do not. They force women to wear it. Actually, hijab system is not only bad for women, it is also bad for men too. A woman is wearing hijab or burqa, it means all men in society are bad or rapists. Men force women to wear hijab or they brainwash women to wear hijab. I think it is time to reject patriarchy, religion and misogyny. and it is time to reject burqa and hijab.
Taslima ji, thank you. I appreciate you for joining us on this. Thank you so much. Taslima ma'am, this is...
Joining us now is Irshad Hussain, Impar Media panelist. Lubna Kamal, Impar Media panelist, also joins us live. Tahira Hassan, women's rights activist, is also with us on the broadcast. Sumit Peer, political analyst, is joining us live. Joyita Basu, editor of the Sunday Guardian, is also with us on the broadcast. Joyita, how are you reacting to these protests which are continuing in Iran?
I think the protests are extremely progressive. If you ask me, I mean, I totally agree with what Taslima Nasreen said, that there is no way that you can be, make a woman wear what she does not want to wear, and if she is told that, be wearing the hijab is about your religion, it's about this is what your religion wants. It's not that, it is just conditioning that has happened. So I would say what the Iranian women are doing, that's extremely courageous. It's extremely courageous, and we should stand up and support them.
Yes, because also what we are learning is, Tahira Hassan, that she was hit multiple times in her head, and this is being corroborated by injuries, by the CT scans, by the reports, which contradicts what the Iran police said earlier.
I condemn this barbaric act in very strong words. And what kind of Islam Iranians are preaching, I don't know. Because inflicting atrocities on the women, beating women, is not a part of Islam. Let them decide. If she does not want to wear hijab, you can't force her to wear. If anybody wants to wear hijab, you can't force her not to wear. It's her prerogative to decide whether she wants to wear hijab or she does not want to wear hijab. Why to treat the women as a cattle? I repeat again and again. They have their own brain. They will decide whether they are comfortable into it or not. It is a patriarchy that is deep rooted, and they just make the guideline and force women to follow that guideline. When women reject that guideline, often they try to force it, and for that they use the atrocities. So I condemn it in very strong words. And I stand with the women of Iran, and I just salute their courage, their struggle, because there is no democracy. Then too, they're taking head on to that regime, So we all stand with the women of Iran, and all women and the men in the civilized society must stand with the women of Iran. And it cannot be justified in this civil society in 21st century. And the Iranian cannot call themselves a part of civil society if they are saying by beating they will force religious teaching. It's not a part of Islam at all. Again, I will say they don't know anything about the Islam, ABCD of the Islam. So whatever they have done, this barbaric act should be condemned in the strong word. And I condemn it in very, very strong words.
Okay, let me also in fact quickly ask our other guests also to come in on what's interestingly happening now. Lubna Kamal, your reading of course, this horrific crime there, this horrific incident that has taken place, but also the follow-up, the protests that have happened after, with multiple women ripping off their hijab and some even cutting their hair in certain cases.
Yeah, I salute their courage, their bravery. And I tried investigating myself. I was trying to get in touch with people from Iran, and there was a boy. He was telling me from Iran, and he was trying to tell me that the girl was unconscious and she was so scared. That is why she fell unconscious, and then somehow she landed into coma. But whatever you told me just now, that makes it worse. That she was hit on head multiple times. So I feel that we should rise above favoritism. above, the leaders we choose. We should rise above that. And when it comes to human rights, the religion should definitely take second place, because no religion can go against human rights. If someone wants to dress in a particular way, it should be okay. And if someone wants to dress another way, that should be okay. Why is women's dress always under scanner? Except for this Ranveer Singh and Milan Soman, I've never heard of male dressing ever. I mean, why are we always discussing? See, if I start wearing mini skirts to schools and colleges, if these girls, the Karnataka girls, if they start to wear mini skirts or shorts, then also there will be a problem, because my colleague in the medical college, she is also faculty, she had worn jeans, it was winters, and she had decided to wear jeans. Then again, there was a problem. The principal said that you cannot wear jeans, you're a faculty member. So, I mean, why? Why do you see us so much? Why do you see in that particular way? Why? I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Okay, let me ask you though, Lubna Kamal, because many are questioning why Muslim nations are silent, why women also are not speaking up, including Muslim women in India too, on this issue, as much as they should.
Yeah, I already said that favoritism, if they are Muslims, so they cannot go wrong. They cannot do anything wrong. So that is the benefit of doubt. Even everywhere, we give the people we support. We think they are always right. We try to, work around whatever facts come up. We always try to work around them, that this must have happened, and she might not have been hit, and something else might have happened to her. So this is the human tendency, but we should rise against it.
Okay, let me also in fact get in Irshad Hussain at this point. Irshad Hussain, your interpretation of what is transpiring there in Iran, how you are viewing these protests, Irshad?
Yeah, I mean, and it's very unfortunate fold of events which is taking place. In order not to be repetitive, I would just say in unequivocal terms that any kind of moral policing is not good. This is number one. And the first two speakers had their views, and I'll just take out the gist of it. So first point is that on one hand, of course, there is any kind of a misogynism should not be there. Nobody should be forced. The males should not decide what females should wear on both sides. Now we have to see both sides of the spectrum. So there is a side of the spectrum where the males are seemingly urging or making laws for women to wear something to cover up totally. And on the other side, if there are women who want to dress up in a certain manner, they call it decent, but that's being opposed to. As to, okay, you don't look good in hijab, or you don't look good in covering up yourself. So both sides have to be opposed. Women should be able to decide what they're doing. Coming back to the point, to the topic, see, there's something happening in a country 4,000 kilometers away from our country. There was a law, and that law, right or wrong, was opposed by females. There was a very, very unfortunate death. There should be action taken against the policemen. And now the protest is going on, which is democratic. So the positive point there is that the protests are continuing. There are no right wings of that country who are criticizing it, or they are not coming on the road to stop those protesters. So that's happening. Now, Indians, what should be our role? I mean, my opinion, again, it's a personal opinion, that why should we get into these topics, which is happening geographically away from our country? And we have other things to discuss. What we should discuss is what we should do to make the communal harmony in our country. What are the points? What are the things which different communities have in common?
Joyita Basu, respond to that. Irshad Hussain saying, why are you so interested in commenting about what's happening miles away in Iran? Why should Indians be bothered about this? Concentrate on communal harmony in India.
The thing is, I think we are, I think there is enough communal harmony in India. But at the same time, what the Iranian women are doing, that's something really, really progressive.
Irshad Hussain doesn't want to comment on that. He says, why should he be interested in that?
No, why shouldn't we be? Here the, a country that is ruled by clerics, by Islamic clerics, here the women with the repressive, which is absolutely a repressive regime, where people are, condemned to death at the drop of a hat, and there these women have the courage to stand up against a religious theocratic government, which goes by certain very medieval rules and medieval laws that they impose on women, and we should not be standing up in support for them. I mean, for God's sake, for what? Are we the world's largest democracy? And what about the democratic values, the right to protest? And why shouldn't we be, these women are setting an example to the Muslim world. I wish the Muslim world and the Muslim community should learn from the courage that the women are displaying on the streets of Tehran.
Irshad, then I'll get in Sumit as well.
Yeah, before Sumit comes in, he is always a balanced view. I really like his view and his, he really talks something because he's Sumit, he can talk those things. So I have to be very careful when I make a statement because I'm Irshad Hussain. So the point here is that we are the largest democracy, right? We are. But
no.
Really
one sec. Yeah. Because he is Sumit, he can say something. Because you are Irshad, you can't. What do you mean by that?
He's a famous person, no? I'm a layman, and he's a person who's representing a very big organization. Just a layman, that's why. That's all. So we are largest democracy, right? And are we getting into what's happening in Brazil? Are we discussing what's happening in Peru? Are we discussing what's happening in Canada? Are we discussing what's happening in Congo? Are we discussing wherever all the democracies are in shatters, in shambles, where these dictators are getting into it?
We are talking about, I don't think women there are protesting against wearing hijab. I mean, for God's sake, I think these women are setting an example. You should be applauding their courage. Instead of talking about Peru and Congo and Ethiopia and God knows where, Timbuktu.
Somebody talked about democracy. Somebody talked about the largest democracy. So first
we are the largest democracy. The thing is, you should at least stand up for democratic values. People who are fighting for democratic values, stand up for them.
I am a civilized person. I like debates in a civilized manner. If you can handle it,
let's do it. I am a very uncivilized person. I do have a problem when such civilized
I don't want people interrupting
start abusing
I do not like
women.
People interrupting me. I do not.
If you call me uncivilized for that, fine, I am uncivilized.
If the decibel is the measure, then the person who shouts the most should be the best debater, which is not the case.
Well, so your debate doesn't have any substance. What can we do about that?
Not to raise decibel. I have my vocal cords which are much higher. I was first in shouting, But I was saying, go Mayo, go, like that. I was a football player, right? So let's just be normal. So
Lubna Kamal also wanting to make a point. Quickly, before I get in, Sumit. Lubna Kamal.
Yeah. See, wherever there are human rights violations, it should be everybody's business and everybody has the right to speak against it. And it should be condemned anywhere, whether it happens in India, whether it happens abroad. That's it.
Okay. So Lubna disagrees with Irshad there. Sumit Peer, go ahead now.
Uday, thank you very much for having me on your show. I am so famous, I came to know from Irshad by today. Well, that's the news to me. But, having said that, there are a couple of points I want to make. First point is that women constitute 50% of the population of the planet Earth. By no way, politically, legally, ethically, morally, or by any standards, they're inferior. Look at economics, look at banking, look at even at a right to vote. Who are men to dictate terms to them? How can men set their standards? How can any regime? You cannot literally kill a woman for not wearing a hijab. If she is not wearing a hijab, that's okay. But you cannot, literally, break her skill. That is what is happening here. How can you deprive a woman a right to live? Who are you as a man, whoever you are, to deprive a right of a woman to live? That is what is happening here. Women of Iran are breaking the shackles. They are standing up to a regime which is completely governed by clerics. Uday, with 54% of the inflation, mark my words, just $86 billion of foreign exchange reserves and 18% of unemployment. These clerics want to create a tamasha and drama to get away the focus from the main economy of the country, which is going to shambles. These are the people who are begging everywhere, buy oil from us, otherwise we'll go bankrupt. With all these things happening in the economy, who is your scapegoat? What is your fig leaf? You want to show tum apni mardani auraton pe dikhate. You want to show how strong you are, how mature you are. You go find a 22-year-old girl, break her head, and say, okay, this is what we are doing. We are doing some kind of religious moral policing. But who gave you the right to do that? Who gave you the right to kill a woman? And as far as, what Irshad Bhai was talking about others, haven't we spoken about Boko Haram? We have. Haven't we spoken about Uyghurs? Yes, we have. Haven't we spoken about Black Lives Matter? Yes, we have. So if you look from east, west, north, south, we have spoken about everybody. So by which virtue, which right we should not speak about Iranis? It's a question of the dignity and pride of women as a race. As who are we? They are our equals, sir. Even population-wise, man and woman ratio might be 0.5% here and there, but that is how the planet is run. So this kind of mindset has to go, and it cannot be your problem. Tomorrow this problem will come here. If we don't rebut this problem today, tomorrow it will come here. Tomorrow it will go somewhere else. If these women are setting the standards and they have the courage, they have the will to stand up against the people like the country or the regime of Ayatollah Khomeini, then something is good about them and something is drastically wrong. Uday, look at the Iran of 1972, same Iran, sir. From bikini to burqa. In 50 years, the Iran has progressed from bikini to burqa. In 72, you could see people, a woman on the beach, like any other Western beach. Now in 1922, what are we talking 50 years down the line? If you don't wear a burqa or a hijab properly, I'll break your head. I mean, this is what we are talking about. This is the development. This is the Ummah. This is the Sharia. And I want to make one point. Where is OIC, sir? Where is Pakistan? Where are all these Islamic netas? Where is OIC Saab? Where are all these leaders who are not uttering a word? I mean, where is this hijab gang who is everywhere? At the drop of a hat, they come in, but today they are not disappeared. When it comes to women rights, they are not disappeared. And it also proves one important point that hijab is not a mandatory practice in Islam. This also proves one important point what I have been making from the very beginning. When it comes for the women's rights, when it comes for the rights of women, when it comes, then we say, "Arey bhaiya, wo to 4,000 kilometers dur hai, hame kya lena dena?" But when we go to a court of law, then we'll quote Iran, we'll quote Iraq, we'll quote Saudi Arabia, and we'll quote Timbuktu, we'll quote Nigeria, we will even quote Chile, which is the other side of the globe. So it is the politics of convenience what is happening here. When it suits you, when it suits your narrative, talk about it. When it doesn't suit your narrative, let it go. That is how it is happening. When you look at the Hindu society, Uday, there are so many things like sati, there was child marriage. So many things were abolished because in due point of time, the society had to progress. Women had to be given their rights. And I am for 101% rights to women. Let it be Hindu law, Muslim law, or any law. Because women are equal stakeholders in any way whatsoever. If they have one vote and I have one vote, if they pray to one God, I pray to the same God. If banking system is same, education is same, economy is same, who are we to differentiate and deny them of these rights? This is a basic question we need to ask. It's the question of pride of the woman as such. It's not about Iran or Iraq or India. Wherever women are there, we should support them. We should stand with them. We should express our solidarity. Because at the end of the day, they are sisters who are fighting for their rights. They're not asking for any kharat. They are fighting for their rights. Tell me, Uday, if a woman doesn't wear a hijab at the age of 22, does she need to die? That she has to die? Do you have a right to just kill her because she's not wearing the hijab properly? These are the bigger questions we as a civilization have to answer, and the world is looking to us. Are we able to do our duty, or will again fail in our duty and choose to be politically correct and hide in some silos or be an ostrich? This is what world is looking toward, and we as Indians should really put our voice behind them, should support these women, and we have a pride to support these women because they are our sisters and it is our right and duty to support them. Uday?
Absolutely. Let me get a quick, okay, I'm being told we've run completely out of time. So we're going to have to leave it at that. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.